What if I told you that one of the greatest shooters in NBA history may never return to his former glory? Klay Thompson, a champion, sniper, and warrior, has faced not one but two devastating injuries that would end most careers. And now whispers are growing louder. Has time finally caught up with the Splash Brother? From historic highs to painful setbacks, Klay's journey has taken a turn few saw coming. This might be the final chapter. Here is why Klay Thompson's career will never be the same. There was a time when Klay Thompson could change the entire flow of a game in just a few minutes. You didn't even need to blink. Just watch the scoreboard jump because of one of his shooting sprees. Everyone remembers the night he dropped 37 points in a quarter or scored 60 points while barely dribbling the ball. His shooting was unreal, but Klay was never just a shooter. He was also a lockdown defender, one of the best in the league. He could guard the other team's top scorer and still drop 30 on the other end. But the version of Klay we're seeing now is not the same. Injuries took a lot from him. A basketball player can suffer two of the worst ones, an ACL tear and an Achilles rupture. He missed 2 full seasons. That's a long time to be away from the court, especially when you're already in your 30s. And while he did make a comeback, the difference was clear. The smooth movement on defense wasn't there. The ability to chase players around screens, cut through traffic, and jump into passing lanes had faded. When he first came back, he still had some big nights. He reminded us what he was capable of. There were flashes, 20-point games, clutch shots, and some playoff moments, but they weren't happening as often. And what consistency made Klay so special? That started slipping. In one game, he'd be red hot. In the next game, he couldn't make a shot. This season, it became harder to watch. He started missing wide-open looks, the kind he used to hit in his sleep. His shot selection changed. He was forcing plays, trying to create off the dribble when that was never his strength. And it showed. The numbers dipped, his minutes dropped, and slowly, so did his confidence. You could see it in his body language. You could hear it in his interviews. Something had changed. The Warriors noticed it too. Coach Steve Kerr started giving more playing time to younger guys. Klay didn't take that well. He's a proud player and a competitor. He's used to being on the floor in the fourth quarter, not sitting on the bench. And when that changed, it hit him hard. Sometimes he looked visibly upset on the court, on the bench, and at press conferences. It felt like he was struggling to accept what his role had become. And yet, when people started to count him out, he'd remind them he still had something left. He dropped 35 off the bench in a big win, looking like his old self again. But even that didn't last. When the season was on the line, during the play-in game, Klay missed every single shot, 0 points. It was the kind of ending that said more than words ever could. And now we're left asking the same question. What happens next for Klay Thompson? Everything felt different after that brutal play-in game where Klay didn't score a single point. Fans were shocked. His teammates looked disappointed, and Klay seemed quiet, as if he was starting to realize something hard. His career might never be the same again. For someone who built his name on hitting big shots in big games, walking off the floor with 0 points was more than a stormy night. It felt like a signal, a moment when everyone had to face the truth. This wasn't the Klay Thompson we knew during the championship years. Back then, he was automatic. But now things have changed, and what made it harder was that Klay still believed he could be that guy again. In his heart, he felt like the same player, but his body wasn't letting him do the same things. The speed, the bounce, the quick movements. Those little things had faded, and without them, his game wasn't working the way it used to. It was another tough blow when the Warriors didn't offer him a strong contract before the season. They gave Draymond Green a big deal, but gave Klay a much smaller offer. For someone who helped build that dynasty, it felt like a lack of respect. Klay gave them titles, significant moments, and loyalty. However, the business side of the NBA doesn't always care about feelings or history. First time in his career, Klay started to think about life after the Warriors. Clearly, the team was changing, and he wasn't sure if he still fit in. Younger players were stepping up. The team wanted to move faster, play smaller, and give others a chance. That meant less time for Klay. There was less trust in him during key moments. And for someone used to being part of every big play, it was a tough adjustment. Eventually, he decided to leave Golden State and start fresh. He signed with the Dallas Mavericks, a team that had just reached the finals. On paper, it looked like a perfect situation. He didn't have to carry the team. He would get clean looks from Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, two of the best playmakers in the league. His job was simple: space the floor, and hit open shots. But things didn't go as planned. Injuries hit the team. Hard and Luka went down, then Kyrie, then the Mavericks traded away players and the team started losing. Suddenly, Klay was in a new city, playing for a team that wasn't winning and didn't look like a contender anymore. He was supposed to be a piece of a big puzzle, but the puzzle fell apart. Now, he was being asked to do more. Create his shot, lead the team at times, but that wasn't who he was anymore. And when he tried to take on that role, his shooting numbers dropped. His field goal percentage dipped. He started missing more than making. It became clear. He wasn't in the right spot, not for his age, not for his game. At this point in his career, Klay Thompson is stuck between what he used to be and what he needs to become. He still has the skill to knock down threes. That stroke is still smooth, but he can't move like he used to. He's not the same on defense. He can't run around non-stop or cover the best guards every night. And the more he tries to play like it's 2016, the more it shows that 2024 Klay isn't built for that anymore. That's the hard part. It's difficult to change when your whole identity has been built on being one of the best. Klay was never loud or flashy, but his game was pure, efficient, dangerous. Now he has to find a new way to help his team win. He can't be the second option anymore. Maybe not even the third, but that doesn't mean he has no value. If he can accept a more minor role with less pressure and more focus on shooting, he can still help any team. Look at guys like Ray Allen in his later years. He didn't need to be the star anymore. He just hit big shots when they mattered. That could be Klay's path. Stay ready, make smart plays, knock down open looks, and become a leader in the locker room, not by scoring 30, but by showing younger players what it takes to win. That's how he stays in the league. That's how he writes this new chapter. The problem is that accepting a more minor role also means receiving a more minor contract, fewer minutes, and less spotlight. And that's a significant shift for someone who was once one of the faces of a dynasty. But if Klay truly wants to keep playing and help a team compete, he'll need to adjust because the league moves fast. And if you don't evolve, it moves past you. There's Klay Thompson still has a place in the NBA, but it won't be like before. He won't be the go-to scorer. He won't be the elite defender. And that's okay. If he leans into what still works, his catch-and-shoot game, his experience, his calm under pressure, he can still matter. This isn't the ending we imagined for Klay Thompson, but it doesn't have to be a sad one. It can be different, slower, smarter, still valuable. It's still worth watching, because even if he's not the same player, he's still Klay Thompson, and that still means something.